What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. Hope you guys had a good week. I am back. I am back. We got AJ in the house. Good morning to you. We got Albert. Good morning to you. Good morning to Amy, Andy, Bill, Brian, Emily's in the house. Good morning to Jeff, Joe, Lauren, Lydia. Good morning. We got Mark, Marius, Martina, Renee, Rick, Tim, Wendy in the house. You guys are piling in. Wendy says we missed you. I missed you guys too. YouTube land, good morning to everybody out there. We got Levi, good morning to you. Good morning to Ray, all my lurkers, not background of YouTube. It's okay, I still love you. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. M Sky says, good morning. Did you come back burnt Dan or tan Dan? I went straight red Dan. So yeah, I was yeah, the first couple days I actually the first like 2 days of the cruise was kind of like cold because we're leaving from Brooklyn and the weather was just not terrific. But then yeah, as soon as I got anywhere close to Bermuda, it was just straight red. So not bad. Not bad. Held off from like the burning where I need like hospitalization. So it's all good. It's all good. Tim said I know the YouTube people glad. Yeah, I don't know if Stephen King was going live on YouTube or not. Not sure, but man, it's good to be back. And we got let's take a look at that weekly candle. I did put some trades in. They weren't I traded like Target, I had a trade on Tesla, but all off the cell phone. There was one on Carnival Cruise I was trying to take, would just kind of skip me at open, but definitely good to be back. Multiple screens, not a cell phone, not some spotty Wi-Fi. I like it, but pretty good candle. Last week on the SPY, we have this decent red candle with some decent volume on it. Looks like we closed. We broke it at one point. We did not close outside of it. So pretty strong close. 2 weeks of buying. We are struggling with that 20 EMA on a weekly. We got the 100 sitting somewhere around 557.78. And we'll see if we maybe just inside week, something like that. We got a lot of news coming out. Jerome Powell on Wednesday, so we'll see what he says. If there's any rate cuts or not, my guess would be no, but he probably pushes for a strong June rate cut. We'll see. Otherwise, SPY. So closing pretty strong on Friday, closing above the 100 EMA on a daily, not bad. But you have a full-on gap and go today. We've pretty much, I mean, we had one day, I guess, where we had a little pullback that was April 30th. Other than that, even that day, kind of that was more of an open lower, kind of freaked people out, retested this, so it still all looks healthy. But the question is, do we get really a pullback this week or in the coming days? I don't love that gap and go on the SPY. However, you are sitting at you have your 200 EMA on the SPY of 562.42. You had 561.62 as that Thursday support. So we got a little bit of support below us. I guess our first tell sign would be if we could get above 563.63. It's not a huge level, but it is a level I would have liked to see hold. So I think I have to be leaning a little bit bearish, but this with the sentiment that kind of came in, yeah, again, this is a red candle, but even that was a gapping that was a retest candle, so you'd expect that to be red. Really, I'd say 3 strong days of buying. See if we get some kind of pullback. Maybe some point, I don't know if it comes in today, but my target would be 554.98 would be a really interesting looking buy spot. See if it kind of rally. But even where we're at now, there could be some buy the dippers starting to come in. It gives you decent risk reward to buy SPY here. Uh, but my indecision leads to we probably stay almost inside day, high wave candles, something like that. So they're going to bring me back to a challenging day. Looks like we got gap and go to the bear direction on the Qs. That is also still holding support from Thursday at least. We are still above. We've lost the 100, but we're still above the 200 EMA. And I got 484.07. See if that support holds. Otherwise, why do I get the feeling that there's going to be some failed gap and goes today? Kind of close inside day. However, if we lose the 484.07, I'm not going to be thinking that way. I'm going to be switching that thought process pretty quickly. You still can't be too confident to the bear direction, just as you got that 482.68 as a 200. Anything below that, I think I switch the beer. Whew, yeah, unlimited drink package. Whew, it's still lingering, I guess. The bear the bear wheels back on and that would take us probably into more of a retest of 474.99. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, Bitcoin is also pulling back a little bit. We got Dying to Live says, appreciate your page. I appreciate you too. I like your YouTube handle too. We got Bitcoin is for now at it pulled back over the weekend, so 2 days of selling. You're at an interesting also retest spot for Bitcoin. So we'll see if we kind of hold in here. If we get any closing, I think past 93, 347, so about 345, so about $1,000 lower, which we've kind of already retested. We've bounced. So if Bitcoin's an early indicator, that's taking us right into support, and then we get some kind of bounce. Probably be patient at open for a few of these things. Some other names that are moving would be Netflix. I believe yesterday Trump said, and people were looking at Netflix. Probably WBD didn't really get too much, but I think Netflix was your go-to big company, good subscription rate, making money hand over fist, and probably tariff proof, or so we thought till yesterday. We thought that, but no. I don't even know how the tariffs work. So it's 100% tariff to any movie made outside of the US, but I don't really even know how that works. What if it's a US film but it's filmed in a different country? I don't know exactly how that works. But maybe foreign films. I've watched a few of the latest reward ceremonies, or the one out of at least like 5 minutes of one of them. They have like 30 a year, and they always give it to like a film I've never even heard of. So maybe they're all international films now. I don't know, but not too familiar with how this is all going to work. But you have 100% tariffs on, or proposed, not still proposed, not official yet, but on any international film. So Netflix is getting a little bit whopped on that one. Again, it's had a fantastic run. You're just really pulling back into some support. There's a lot of gap it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4 days being taken out. 5 days really. Into a little support if this thing. And so right now, I don't think I want to continue to go bearish. I don't want to really be shorting unless we break down 1094.45. Then I'd be looking for maybe more, see if this tariff thing sticks a little bit, and then get a pullback into like 1051. So that would give us a lot of room. Otherwise, at here at this zone, I think you have a. I think we'll see if the Biden dippers want to come in, but this would be an interesting spot for them to do so. Other names kind of getting killed in the news. Disney would be the other one. They have earnings coming out, I think, this week as well. May 7th. That is falling in this week, if I'm not mistaken, right? That is Wednesday. Mm. So Wednesday had a nice little run ahead of earnings, and now you're getting your pullback before the earnings even come out. This one I don't like as much to be patient on. You have one little spot sitting somewhere around 89.29. If that starts to break, I think you got your next target down to 87.53. So this one probably has a little bit more room. Follows a little more on the fence, and then probably if you could get some kind of buying at open, probably better spot to short somewhere around 89.75 into like 89.93. Somewhere in that zone, I think would be a better spot to short. So still maybe give this one a minute, see how this one wants to react. But the fact we broke all that support tells me we probably had a little bit lower into the earnings on Disney, and then it's up to them. What movie have they come out with? I know their parks are doing well, their cruises are doing well, but what movie have they come out with recently? I'm not sure. I'm not too sure. And then WBD too, also getting a little killed on the 100% tariff news, however it's going to work. This one, it is a gap and go from Friday. That was more of an inside candle. I think this is going to act as a little bit more retest. See if this one wants to come down a little bit first. See if we can hold 824 if you like it. Otherwise, look for like 810 would be a decent bounce spot on WBD. Marvell. Mustafa says on SPY, the key number is 575 level. The last high staying below remains bearish. That simple. 575 is a huge level. I agree. Jenny says, hey, Dan, you didn't get sucked into the Bermuda Triangle. No, I did not get sucked into the Bermuda Triangle. I got all the way to Bermuda. I was like, there's nothing with this Bermuda Triangle. Then we went to, I think it was like the second day we were in Bermuda. My wife's like, yeah, let's take the kids. It's like a underwater Bermuda Triangle type museum thing. I was like, all right, let's go there. Let's check it out. And there was an exhibit there where you see like a little toy boat, and they were trying to like come up with all the theories of why people just get lost in the Bermuda Triangle. And so they have like a toy boat in this like big cylinder of water, and then you hit the button, and all this like methane gas comes out, and the whole thing like bubbles up, and then you see the the boat just sink all the way down. I was like, man, we still got to get out of here. I didn't even realize like I don't need a visual before I leave of how I'm gonna die. No, surprise me. But yeah, no, I survived, made it through. Marvell, good gap and go again into some support. So watch this level here if you want to go short. See if you could get this 61.27 breakdown first. Even that I'm not too comfortable with. Your next support is $60.88. So that'd be a very small move to the downside. It is a gap and go. More volume on the Thursday candle than we did have on that Friday. So I don't know how many people are being trapped. Let's see if this is a failed gap and go first. Probably better spot if this one retests 62.51. Otherwise, I think you will get a decent move if you start breaking 60.80, and then that would take you down to like 58.95. So that would be the trade for me in this zone. I don't know. I think the buy the dippers might come in initially. We'll see, and that would take us into like a better spot to short 62.51 on Marvell. Hims is looking interesting. Movie Thunderbolts? No, they had to win some kind of awards because I haven't heard of Thunderbolts. So they're probably sweeping every award ceremony. Isn't that like the superhero kind of like action, but they're like cats or something? Or lions or I don't know. I don't know. I didn't see that one and I got kids and they have not mentioned Thunderbolts. We got Hims is they got earnings today after the bell. Looks like a good push. I don't know what the earnings are going to be today, but keep in mind if you were in this thing and buying it as little as uh, uh, slightly under a month ago, you're almost up 100%. You're up about 80% on this move already. So there's some people already profitable. This is a retest gap opening into some resistance. I think this one's probably a fade into, if you want to try to go long, I'd have to wait to 40.81 for me. Otherwise, if this thing opens and we start getting above 42.01, I think your next target runs you to like 43.87. But uh, I don't know how these earnings are going to play out. They did miss last quarter. We're underneath that quarter for now, and this is a retest gap. So uh, for me, I think if I'm going to try to go long, which right now is the direction, I'd still have to wait for some kind of a pullback on that one. Yeah, check that power too. Uh, Power is also gapping down. Good retest gap into a little bit of support. So maybe we hold here. Otherwise, you're probably looking for that gap fill somewhere around $10.99, which is still not that far away. So let's see if we get a little pullback there. But this is a very interesting spot to get bought up on. Still inside this one. If the bulls don't really want this gap fill to happen, maybe get a lift off. You're gonna have to worry about some moving averages, and then probably about $11.21, $11.35, and then full retest the low of that candle or the closing price somewhere around $11.43. But the real spot I'd be looking at that point is can we get back to 11.64? So I don't know how wide the range is going to be on power. We'd have to have a pretty tight setup. UNH. Benjel says it's the 10th day of knee surgery. I'm feeling great in my knee. Like you've been in surgery for 10 days straight? That's wild. You actually might be holding some records. Either that or you had surgery 10 days ago and your knee is finally feeling better. And that's what I like to hear. That's good news. We got UNH. I prefer that one than you just had a 10-day surgery. That'd be wild. You got UNH is gapping up a little bit. No, gapping slightly down a little bit by 2 pennies. Not much movement. Um, the one candle for any really long-term move would be this candle right here with all this volume, 462.20. That one's never been retested. So as a swing trade, you got 452.13 would be my target on this one. Uh, You also have a big level at 428.42 you'd have to climb through. So maybe on a swing trade, but you're still trying to catch a falling knife. I think on the weekly, I was looking at this one this morning too on a weekly basis, and you have a lot of volume ahead of you, 408.27. I think this thing wants to come lower. So I think if you're in this one, or you're looking to position in, let's see if we get a couple more days of consolidation at least. Give us something. Otherwise, you do have a interesting looking high wave candle. Even that one opened and closed lower than the previous day too. We are above, so if you're gonna try to throw a stop in, maybe below 392.95, and then probably moving your stops pretty quickly if you break 398.89. But I think you're still in fall catch a falling knife mode on this one for right now. Still looks a little bit weak, and maybe you got some interest, a little high wave, some volume, but nothing too crazy on this one quite yet. Looks give me a little sideways chop first, I think, before I want to course correct that one. Otherwise, I think still to the downside. We got SEP is bearish engulfing candle. A little bit of a warning sign on Thursday. I don't know what this one is. This stock looks like it was created and made an entire move while I was away for a week because I don't know what SEP is, but since April 23rd, it just started to rampage. So yeah, I don't know what this is. I don't know what the news is. It looks like a quick parabolic move. Probably has to pull back. Watch 39.24 for that. But you did have a warning sign on Thursday, bearish engulfing candle on Friday. And let's see if you probably continue the downward momentum to 39.06, maybe get into like 34.01, and then we have to go see what happens from there. It's a rival to MSTR. I love this is the next Amazon. This is the next MSTR. If you like those companies, just buy those companies. I don't know. BTC company. Oh, it's a Jack Ma. If it's a Jack Ma company, there's also news in China again. I think it was from Barron's floating around the idea that some of the ADRs could be delisted. So I don't know if SEP is an ADR. I don't know how it's actually set up, but um, they're saying delist BABA because it has ties to the Chinese military. And if Jack Ma is in BABA, Jack Ma's in that one, you probably have an extra risk that you don't have in MSTR. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But I don't know. I don't know if BABA gets delisted or not. I could see it being a tool, at least for negotiation, throwing the room around a little bit more. Makes it kind of tough to invest in it. I'm already in, but just at much lower pricing. I'm not selling yet. I actually had like a 10-second thought, like maybe I should just get out of BABA, but then my realization that it's in the long-term portfolio. So what am I even thinking about? I don't want to turn the long-term into a trading account. So I'm still holding, but you got BABA. He's looking a little bit rough again, still inside day from Friday. So even with the rumors, which is not the first time we heard delisting ADRs, you are having a little pullback. See if you get this one bought up. If you're going to short, probably look for like 125.79. If it starts breaking out of there, be a little scared until you get to like 126.71 is where I throw my stop on that one with a much better spot or another spot to look if you like to short BABA, 129.36. Otherwise, everything I like about the company, but it's going to have that extra risk, which we've heard for probably a month and a half now, and probably before that about potential delisting. But targets on this one, you do have a decent amount of room for the short side of things. I'd probably be looking for BABA short. I would love to see it bounce a little at open first. Targets for me, though, would get us into 120.49 on that one. We got PLTR. I was hoping nobody would mention this one. I was hoping we could just avoid it altogether, but here we are. Um, Holding up very well compared to the rest of the market. We are depends on if you blink or not. You're either right at the closing price, you're 2-3 pennies higher, or a few cents lower than where we closed. But this one has actually even had a bigger move after hours and then just kind of pulled back. So I think we got up to like 125.50-ish, somewhere in that zone. So holding up fairly well. Earnings today after the bell. I have no idea how that's going to go. I'm not going to play anything on it through the earnings. I did play Meta through the earnings, bought some shares, and then sold it pretty quickly after they made the pop. I think I'm going to pass on Palantir. Again, valuation is crazy. Retailers, they love the stock. It's got momentum in it. I prefer to be a buy the dipper than a breakout on this one. That being said, it looks strong right now. It might have continuation into for today into earnings. We will see, but I'd be all sorts of nervous kind of running into this one for earnings. I have no idea. It's either I think they're expecting like a 15% move, which is roughly like $18 in either direction. So potentially a big move on this one. Day trade wise, I'd probably still have to stay bullish. I like the spot we're opening for now. So I'd be more of a bull than a bear for today, and then we'll reassess that one for tomorrow. We got Shopify. It is a double top until it's not, Bijal. So yeah, Palantir's got a big double top on it. Um, we'll see how today's earnings go, and that will probably help decipher how strong of a double top that might be. Otherwise, you got Shopify. Also, by the way, if you were in Palantir, right, and you're loving life, you're getting it to 120 up here, and then you had this pullback, your portfolio's down. If you're on margin, you're getting killed. Whatever the case, you have the opportunity to just get out now at the same price you had before. So just thinking about sentiment wise, the double top maybe could hold, but people definitely bullish on Palantir. And again, we'll see. 15% move on Palantir. I'm not sure that it actually pushes that far. We'll probably stay within that range. That's my guess, but we'll see. So we got Shopify. That one looks a little double toppy. All tangled up in the moving average as well. This is a gap and go from Friday. Slightly under the opening price of that Thursday candle. You got about 97.11 would be probably a retest spot. Otherwise, this one I think does have some room to the downside. You probably get to like 94.63. Let's put that one higher on the list as well, just to take a look. But so far, not a lot of ranges. Tesla has been interesting this week. Tessie. Um, 295 has been a monster resistance. We were looking good on that Friday. I had some calls that I bought, I think somewhere on this Wednesday, held it for the next couple days. I sold like 94.50 or something like that. So I made some money on this one. I was hoping we could get a close above the 200, and it just could not do it on Friday. Closed right at the 200. Now you have again a gap and go. I just don't trust a lot of these gap and goes today. A lot of them are opening into support. You have big support on Tessie, 284.46, all the way down to like 283.63, which has been holding fairly well. Anything past that, maybe you see a little bit of a pullback to 278.11. So I'm gonna be watching Tessie. I like that close a lot. I like where that volume came in. I'm not loving the gap and go, kind of the follow through this morning, but the entire market's kind of gapping down a little bit. So it's going to be a battle. Does the supports hold, or does the overall gap and go really freak people out? I will tell you, I'm in this one. I'm not selling yet. I still like my price. I'm fine with this small gap and go. So it's not like a panic gap and go for me. And looking at that support, I'm still considering buying as a day trade. I'm in the position, so I'm not going to add more to that one. But a lot of these stocks look the same. Where you get that gap and go, you can't ignore the bullish momentum that we had last week, and then a small pullback at best. It doesn't really get me too crazy that the market's now going to just reverse out of nowhere. We got Tempest AI. Really good breakout candle on Friday. Cleared a lot of pivots. We got stuck right into this one, somewhere around this 58.46. So we've already kind of hit that next resistance. If we could get a close above it, we have a lot more room to the next one, 62.74. But now we're starting to make higher highs. This does look like a little bit of head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders. So not bad. But gap and go to the bear side today, still inside Friday's candle. If this thing gets bought down to like 54.30, that's probably your better bull spot. If you're bearish, you don't really, I mean, if you're a bull, you don't really want to see 51.38 get taken out. But you do even at that, you have some moving averages coming in to support you. So looks good. Maybe a rest day for today, and then see if we can kind of continue, eventually break out of that. But give me some sideways chop, I think, for the next couple of weeks, and a swing trade might be fantastic for TEM. Let's see. We didn't look at Teva yet. Teva. Uh, Teva is gap up. That is a retest gap into a strong resistance. I think this one, although I like that location a lot, if this one opens as a high wave candle, I do want to see some selling into this resistance, but I'd be okay with maybe a high wave candle. So give me like a 3 minute or 5 minute high wave candle. Give me a 15 minute high wave candle. I care less. But give me some kind of indecision around here without really breaking $16.75. Then I'll take the breakout somewhere above 1687, and then we can see if we could ride it. Next immediate target somewhere around 1726, but that would be a longer term looking decent kind of chart. But yeah, I would like to see a little bit of retesting on this one first. If we get that little tiny pullback, holds fairly strong, I think going forward. Getting above this 1687 zone, not too bad. Dying to Live says, what about Nphase? This is another one I looked at pre-market today. Every time it pulls this consolidation, you're seeing these gap lowers. So I don't think the current administration is quite as friendly to clean energy. So I think you're gonna have that you got to deal with. But going back to this weekly chart, you're at a spot bulls have to hold. They just haven't really shown any signs that they're going to hold this thing yet. And that might take us into like this $26 range. 25.31 will be the next stop to the downside for Nphase. So I think we could see a little bit more of a pullback even on the weekly chart. Again, we ended lower than the previous weekly close, small candle, so not much movement. They do have earnings coming out. We have some time on this one, but we got July 29th. Other than that, I haven't seen any pulse for Enphase quite yet. We still have all the moving averages we got to battle. The only thing that's good, if you want to take a stab at it, you have some sideways consolidation on this one. And then you have big volume candle on April 23rd. Anything above 45.61 would get you your decent, okay, maybe we could hold it, and you're throwing your stops at like 43.70. But I don't see the bulls really coming in yet, but we did have a week of small movement, sideways consolidation. Um, Somebody was asking me, oh, Bijal said Walmart versus Target. It depends on the scenario of day trade or buying for like long term. I think Target probably offers you the better value play than Walmart does. Walmart's still kind of, I mean, you had your all-time highs at 105.34. You had your currently you're sitting at 98.84. So um, this one's obviously a little bit more stable. People are loving Walmart, but it's already had its move. Target, I think you get a little bit of a more value to your play, maybe more of a run, and I think Target's still a solid company. So other than that, all my people on YouTube land, you guys are absolutely incredible. That is the morning bell. Be safe in the market.